Indonesia's President Prabowo Subianto is in New Delhi to be India's chief guest for its 76th Republic Day celebrations. Accompanying him is a delegation of prominent business leaders from Indonesia, including Anindya Bakrie, who is the CEO of Bakrie and Brothers, one of Indonesia's largest corporations. He's someone, of course, who has also accompanied President Subianto in the past on his foreign delegation visits, and we're delighted to have him join us here on India Today Global. Mr. Bakrie, thank you so much for joining us. Could you begin by telling us a little bit about, your coming here for this visit to India? Have you been here before? What sort of business opportunities are you eyeing here in India?
First of all, thank you for having me here. I have been to 3 out of 4 invites to Indonesia for the Republic Days. I believe not only this year, 2018, and sometime 2008 with 3 different presidents. So I'm very fortunate, and I want to make sure that I congratulate you for a beautiful Republic Day today. I was there for a good 3 hours, and I really enjoy the whole show. Yes, I've been here for many times. Need to do more with all the developments within the two countries. So yeah, the beauty about India is that every states have their own excitements, characteristics, both for businesses as well as for pleasure. So whether you are in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, or you're in Delhi, Calcutta, Mumbai, Pune, back to Jaipur, all of them are good. And in fact, I'm bringing 25 provincial chambers of commerce and industries tomorrow, 65 people to Agra tomorrow. So we're going to make sure we do some tourism visit as well.
I understand. Right. Mr. Bakrie, if I could ask you, as a businessman who's been to India before, has traveled the world, runs one of Indonesia's largest corporations, what sort of reputation does India enjoy in the business community? Is it seen as a place that's promising but still hard to do business? Is it seen as a place that's turned its economic story around? What do you think of when you think of India as a major CEO?
I think there are a lot of similarities in terms of the branding or the image. It is seen as an emerging economy, but not just an emerging economy, emerging powerhouse economy. So people in Indonesia and the world, I just got back from World Economic Forum in Davos, believes that these two eyes, India and Indonesia, can support the growth and should support the growth of the world in the next few years. India is good because of the human capital, among others, right? It is exemplary of how it should be done by other countries as well. I think the human capital of India is world class. We can see a lot of good people are in the top global companies in the world. And when you come here, you see the vibrance of the human capital starting from the airport. When you come in, is 24/7. But of course, it is not only the human capital, but what they do is also interesting in the area of manufacturing, pharmaceutical, IT, and also energy transition, and so on and so forth. And all those areas are the ones that we went through a lot during the 25 plus 25 CEOs forum yesterday, which then we reported to the two leaders, PM Modi and President Prabowo, at the Hyderabad house during a little bit before lunchtime.
Right. And if I could ask you, Mr. Bakrie, in terms of the economic relationship between India and Indonesia, we've of course heard a lot about there's a $30 billion trade relationship, but investments and foreign direct investment from both countries into each other remains somewhat limited. You're a business leader who's seen this relationship evolve. Are the two countries missing each other's growth stories in some ways? You're of course also part of the Chambers of Commerce and Industry. You're meeting fellow business leaders from India. What exactly are the conversations about bringing these two countries closer together economically?
Yeah, I think trades are a good way to start a relationship, and we have good trades, but that's still a lot to grow. 30 billion, planning to go to 50 billion is a good ambition, but I think we should, quadruple that number in the same time frame, maybe a little bit more, because the percentage of trade between the country compared to the total trades of each country is still very small, right? So Indonesia and India have a lot to grow the trades. Having said that, the next level is investments to make sure that each side feel comfortable to invest in the other's countries. And that has a lot to do with certainty of regulations, policies from each government, and also the welcoming among the business sectors. What's beautiful yesterday was that the 25 plus 25 CEO meet in front of the ministers. The result was reported in Hyderabad House to the two leaders, the PM and also the president. And on top of that, the relationship between President Prabowo and Prime Minister Modi is very, very good, right? And we can see yesterday, including in the state dinner, which I came as well, and of course, being the chief guest in the Republic Day, cannot be more, serious showmanship of a good relationship. So I think after trade, we should do more investments. And I think not only trade and investment, but intelligent trade and investment that can serve the world. And I think Indonesia and India are one of those examples that energy transition, food resilience can be done for a scalable proportion to the rest of the population.
Mr. Bakrie, if I could also ask you from your unique perspective, you've of course talked to the ministers, you've talked to your Indian counterparts as well. What requirements have you conveyed to them? Because oftentimes the sense is that India has, over the last 10 years, when you hear about India's economic conversation, ease of doing business, make in India, that has been really a big focus. In your experience, has it in fact become easier to do business in India over the last 10 years?
I think India has done a good job. Let me give you one example. I just got back, as I mentioned, from World Economic Forum. There were at least 4 or 5 states promoting themselves over there, as opposed to, even for us, we have Indonesian House. Over there, you have one of the states and 4 of them, promoting themselves. That shows that India is confident. Number 2, Make in India, rings a bell and makes sense because of the human capital, because of the infrastructure. But if people would like to do more, they will always say, hey, look, certainty of doing business, ease of doing business is important. And I think, the states and also at the central government should make sure of that. Number 2, infrastructure can always be improved because that's, the one that can be built upon, for more businesses. And then, this is the plus thing, health and education remain to be steadfast. But I think vocational studies, to the extent that maybe you can have vocational studies for export, so that, when people invest in India, not only you make in India, but you can export together. So it's good for India, but it's also good for the companies investing in India.
Understood. Mr. Bakrie, could I also ask you, you of course helm one of Indonesia's largest business conglomerates. Could you tell us a little bit about your personal investment plans, what exactly you have been working on in India over the last couple of years, where you intend to take that in the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think a couple of things that, first of all, I've been doing a lot of work in the past in the telecom and media sector with India since 20 years ago. Whether recruiting talents for our telecom company or procuring content, movies or drama for our media companies. A lot of them have been done in the past. But I think Indonesia and India can work together in the energy transition story, not because it's the right thing to do for the environment only, but also because it can be good business. And India has shown, in the energy transition story, whether in the solar energy and other means of energy, they are doing it well, they're doing it scalably, doing it at an efficient way, so Indonesia can learn about it. So energy transition. And including also the electric vehicles, for example, for public transportations. Number 2, I think Indonesia can learn a lot on the health care, right? A lot of companies here are doing 10,000 beds, 5,000 beds. Those are a good example to learn, because when the company want to grow like Indonesia from let's say $5,000 per capita to 25,000, health and education is very important. So the third one is education. That I think we can take a look at it quite seriously. And technology, I mentioned that we have been involved in telecom media technology from the very beginning. So technology is huge, and especially with AI, the applicability of AI could be very similar. We have vast population. Of course, India has 1.4 billion people, but we need to make sure that we use technology to leapfrog a lot of these social services, meaning like health, education, and also commercial services, to make it much more targeted.
Understood. Mr. Bakrie, thank you so much for your time, for explaining to us a little bit about the India-Indonesia business relationship and your personal efforts to bring those two countries much, much more closer together in the realm of economics, business, and trade. Thank you again so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.